Hello, in this session we will discuss about quantization of angular momentum. In the last session we discussed about energy of rotational motion. By solving the eigenvalue eigenfunction equation, we obtained the energy eigenvalue as s bar square over 2I L into L plus 1. Similarly, before that we knew that the total energy expression is L square over 2I. This mu r0 square is 2I. So L square over 2I and h bar square over 2I L into L plus 1. This L square is the angular magnitude of angular momentum, and this L here in the first expression is the quantum number. So there must be the two energy expressions are similar. So how they are related, how the angular momentum is related to energy eigenvalues, that we will see in this session. So total energy expression is L square over 2I, that is the angular momentum square over 2I. Further, the energy eigenvalue expression that we have obtained is h square that in the previous section we have obtained h bar square over 2I L into L plus 1. So how they are related to each other? So I can say that L square can be substituted as h bar square L into L plus 1. If we compare these two energy expressions, we can find out L square, that is the angular momentum square. The square of angular momentum must be equal to h bar square L into L plus 1. Because after comparing these two expressions, I can only say the square of angular momentum is equal to h bar square L into L plus 1. So we'll see that expression we will see. Now the energy expression that we have obtained, h bar square over 2I L into L plus 1, that is the eigenvalue we obtained after solving the eigenfunction. And we applied the Hamiltonian operator on spherical harmonics. The spherical harmonic function, we applied the energy operator. We applied the Hamiltonian operator on the spherical harmonics. Then we obtained energy eigenvalue. Now also energy is L square over 2I. Now the energy eigenvalue can be related to L square. Okay. Now this 2I is a constant quantity. So what I can say, the total energy operator is an eigenfunction of this spherical harmonics. Okay, that's why you got some energy eigenvalue. Similarly, this L square, the square of angular momentum, must be a eigenfunction. This spherical harmonic function must be a eigenfunction for the square of angular momentum operator. Again I am repeating, the spherical harmonics were eigenfunctions for total energy operator. That's why we got some energy value. Similarly, the spherical harmonics must be a eigenfunction for this square of angular momentum operator, because the total energy and square of angular momentum are separated by a constant quantity 2I. So I can also say that the spherical harmonic functions are eigenfunctions of square of angular momentum as well, because the total energy and square of angular momentum differ only by a multiplicative constant, that is 1 over 2I. Therefore the spherical harmonic function is also an eigenfunction of what? The square of angular momentum. If that is the case, then we should get a corresponding eigenvalue as well. So what is the eigenvalue for the square of angular momentum? So when square of angular momentum is operated on the spherical harmonic function, so we'll get, if we get back the same spherical harmonic function multiplied by a constant, then that constant is called eigenvalue of square of angular momentum. So the eigenvalue associated with square of angular momentum is h bar square L into L plus 1. So that's what we have obtained by comparing these two equations. So L square, the square of angular momentum, must be equal to h bar square L into L plus 1. So if we do that through solving the eigenfunction or eigenvalue equation, we'll also get the same eigenvalue, that is h bar square L into L plus 1. So when the spherical harmonic functions are operated on the square of angular momentum operator, we get the corresponding eigenvalue. The corresponding eigenvalue for square of angular momentum operator is h bar square L into L plus 1. So what is the magnitude of angular momentum? This is square of angular momentum is h bar square L into L plus 1. L is a quantum number, okay, and its value varies from 0, 1 to 3 like that. Now what is the angular momentum? The angular momentum will be h bar root over of L into L plus 1. L values are 0, 1, 2, 3 like that. Means the angular momentum is quantized. The square of angular momentum and angular momentum is quantized. It is very important to note the square of angular momentum commute with total energy because they are separated by a multiplicative constant 1 over 2i. So, and not angular momentum means the square of angular momentum commute with the total energy and not only the angular momentum. Okay, the angular momentum does not commute with total energy, but it is the square of angular momentum which commute with total energy. Similarly, I can also say the spherical harmonic is an eigenfunction of total energy and spherical harmonic is an eigenfunction for square of angular momentum, but spherical harmonics is not an eigenfunction for angular momentum. But the magnitude of angular momentum that we have obtained is h bar root over of L into L plus 1. Now with varying values of L like 0, 1, 2, 3 like that, the angular momentum is also quantized. For L is equal to 1, we will have a certain angular momentum. For L is equal to 2, for L is equal to 3, like that we will have different angular momentum values. Now since it is quantized, we'll see what are the component, then we'll see what are the various values of various quantized values of angular momentum. We'll see just now. Before that, we'll discuss the components of angular momentum. A particular angular momentum can be resolved into three mutually perpendicular axes. In Cartesian coordinates, a particular angular momentum can be resolved into three mutually perpendicular axes, and its total angular momentum will be sum of angular momentum along x direction, y direction and z direction. Okay, so the angular momentum is Lx I cap, Ly j cap plus Lz k cap. Similarly, square of angular momentum is also sum of square of angular momentum along x direction, square of angular momentum along y direction and square of angular momentum along z direction. Okay, so when we discussed about rotation in two-dimensional space or rotation in for a particle in a ring, we only obtained angular momentum along z direction. We didn't obtain angular momentum along x and y direction, but for rotation in three-dimensional space, we'll get values for the angular momentum values along z direction, y direction as well as x direction. Now in Cartesian coordinates, what are the operator for angular momentum along x direction? It is minus ih cross y dou over dou z minus z dou over dou y. Similarly, iy, what is the angular momentum along y direction? The operator for angular momentum along y direction is minus ih bar z dou over dou x minus x dou over dou z. Similarly, the operator for angular momentum along z direction is minus ih cross x dou over dou y minus y dou over dou x. So we'll see that the angular momentum operator, the components of angular momentum operator, that is angular momentum along x-axis, y-axis and z direction, do they commute with each other or not? We'll verify that fact. So we'll take angular momentum to angular momentum, that is angular momentum along x direction and angular momentum operator along y direction. We'll see whether these two angular momentum operators commute with each other or not. So we'll apply the commuting relation on a function, on any function psi. This function is not immaterial here. It can be any function. We'll see whether these two operators, these two components of angular momentum operators are commuting in nature or non-commuting in nature. So the commuting relation goes like, so the Lx Ly minus Ly Lx, this is the commuting expression. So what is Lx? The Cartesian coordinate operator, the operator for angular momentum in Cartesian coordinates are represented. This minus ih bar is taken out of this, is a constant quantity and it taken out of the brackets, and the other expressions in Cartesian coordinates for different angular momentum operator are represented. Now when we open up the brackets and do some multiplication, we'll get various terms, and when they are simplified, it is easy to follow the mathematics. This is elementary mathematics. When they are simplified, some terms will cancel out and we will be left with the term minus ih bar square product of y dou over dou x minus x into dou over dou y, and the multiplied by the function psi. Now what is this quantity? This if I take negative, if I take a negative sign, then I'll get what, x dou over dou y minus y dou over dou x. So what is this x, this quantity, what is this this quantity? We'll see this y dou over dou x minus x dou over dou y. This quantity is nothing but, this is nothing but the operator for angular momentum along z direction. The operator for angular momentum along z direction, we have mentioned here the operator for angular momentum along z direction is this one. So we'll substitute that, and we'll find out that the commuting relation between Lx and Ly gives rise to IH cross Lz. Okay, the commuting relation between Lx and Ly gives rise to IH cross Lz, means the commuting relation is not equal to 0, means that these two operators, that is angular momentum along x direction and angular momentum along y direction, are non-commuting in nature. If it is 0, then only they are commuting in nature. If it is not 0, then it is not commuting. Similarly, we can find out that the commuting relation between Ly and Lg is equal to IH cross Lx. Similarly, the commuting relation between Lg and Lx is equal to IH cross Ly. Now the order of commuter operator is important. Suppose I have done here Lx and Ly, then I am getting minus IH cross Lz. If I reverse the order of commuting relation, for Lx Ly I am getting IH cross Lz. If I do the reverse order, Ly Lx, that will be Ly Lx minus Lx Ly. So I'll be getting negative, and the sign will be changed, minus IH cross Lz. So what I can say? I can say Lx Ly Lx is equal to negative of commutator of Lx Ly. So the order of commutator relation is very important. So what is the conclusion that we have done? Lx, the different components of angular momentum don't commute with each other. Lx does not commute with Ly, Ly does not commute with Lg, and Lg does not commute with Lx, because when you do the commutator operation, we are not getting value 0. So that's why these operators are non-commuting in nature. Again, I am repeating, the components of angular momentum operator are non-commuting in nature. Okay. So this expression we have derived using the Cartesian coordinate expression for these operators. Now these operators, these angular momentum operators, the components of angular momentum operators can also be expressed in terms of spherical coordinates, and we will be using the spherical coordinates just to verify that the components don't commute with each other. It is easy to use these Cartesian coordinate operators, but the components of angular momentum can also be expressed in terms of spherical harmonic coordinates. So the component for the Lx, the angular momentum component along x direction, is equal to minus IH cross minus sin phi dou over dou theta minus cot theta cos phi dou over dou phi. So this is the operator for angular momentum along x direction. Similarly, angular momentum along y direction and angular momentum along z direction is minus IH bar dou over dou phi. So there are two different components expressed, the operators for three different components expressed in terms of spherical harmonic coordinates. Now there is one important point to note. The component along z direction depends only upon one variable, that is phi. But the component along x and y direction depends upon two variables, that is both theta variable is there and phi variable is there. So the component along z direction is dependent upon only one variable. This is an important point, and we'll be using this one. So the component of angular momentum operator along z direction or z direction depends upon only on phi. Now previously we have shown that spherical harmonics are eigenfunctions for square of angular momentum. We have discussed first, in the last session we discussed spherical harmonics are eigenfunctions for total energy operator. In this session just now we discussed spherical harmonics are eigenfunctions for momentum square operator, because momentum square and energy are separated by a multiplicative constant. So the spherical harmonics are also eigenfunctions for square of angular momentum. Spherical harmonics are eigenfunctions for total energy, spherical harmonics are eigenfunctions for square of angular momentum. Now we will see that these spherical harmonics are also eigenfunctions for Lg. means angular momentum operator along g direction. Okay, so we'll verify that. So the LG operator is taken, and it is acted upon the spherical harmonic function. The spherical harmonic function is a product of two functions. There is a theta function and there is a phi function. Now this operator, the angular momentum operator along g direction, depends upon only phi variable. So the theta function of the spherical harmonic will be coming out of the differentiation. So the theta functions comes out of the differentiation, and within the differentiation we have only the phi function and phi function. And what is there in the phi function? We'll take a normal example. The phi function is 1 over root 2 pi e to the power iml phi. We have discussed this one. This expression we have discussed in particle in rotation of particle in two-dimensional space or particle in a ring. We have discussed. So the phi function is 1 over 2 pi e to the power iml phi. This is a representative example of a phi function, and theta function comes out of the integration. This spherical harmonics is a product of two functions, theta function and phi function, but the LZ operator is dependent only upon phi function. So the theta function will come out of the integration. Now when you do this differentiation, we'll find out that we'll be left with a constant value and product of two functions. There is a theta function, there is a phi function. The phi function is same as 1 over 2 root 2 pi e to the power iml phi is the phi function. Okay, and theta function remains as such, and if we do the differentiation we'll get ml h cross, okay, multiplied with this minus I h cross. So this ml h cross is the eigenvalue, and this product of theta function and phi function is nothing but the spherical harmonics. So when I operate my component of angular momentum along g direction on the spherical harmonic, I get a constant value, I get a constant quantity, and this is the eigenvalue multiplied by the same spherical harmonic. This is the same spherical harmonic. Spherical harmonics is a product of two functions, theta function and phi function. So I am getting back my spherical harmonics and a constant quantity, that is ml h cross. So what is the eigenvalue for angular momentum along g direction? The angular momentum along g direction is ml h cross. The angular momentum along g direction is what? ml h cross. Now what is the magnitude of angular momentum? The eigenvalue for angular momentum square was L square. The eigenvalue for angular momentum square was h bar square L into L plus 1. Now angular momentum along g direction is ml h cross. These two important points are to be noted. Okay, so angular momentum along g direction is ml h cross, and angular momentum value, the square of angular momentum value is h bar square L into L plus 1. So I can say that spherical harmonics are eigenfunctions for total energy operator. These are eigenfunctions for square of angular momentum, and these are also eigenfunctions for angular momentum along g direction. When it is eigenfunctions for total energy operator, the energy eigenvalue that we have obtained is h bar square over 2i L into L plus 1. When it is eigenfunctions for square of angular momentum, the eigenvalue that we have obtained is h bar square L into L plus 1. When it is eigenfunctions for LZ operator, means angular momentum operator along g axis, the eigenvalue that we are getting is ml h cross. So what is the information that we have obtained so far? The information that we have obtained pertaining to rotational motion is the magnitude of square of angular momentum we have obtained, and the only one component, that is the component along z direction, the magnitude of angular momentum along z direction we have obtained. So two things we have obtained so far: the magnitude of angular moment, square of angular momentum, and the magnitude of angular momentum component along g direction. So because spherical harmonics are eigenfunctions for both square of angular momentum and angular momentum along g direction, both the magnitude of angular momentum and its z component can be known simultaneously. So we can find out the magnitude of angular momentum and its component along g direction, but we cannot find out the angular momentum component along x direction and y direction. With that, we'll do few more questions. The square of angular momentum is again resolved into three components: the component along x-axis, component along y-axis, and component along z-axis. Now we can say that the component along z-axis commutes with L square. or square of angular momentum. To verify that, we have to do a commutator operation. So L square, that's square of angular momentum, and LG. So the square of angular momentum is resolved into three Cartesian coordinate axes: Lx square plus Ly square plus Lg square comma Lg. Now we'll apply the commutator, we'll expand this commutator operator. So what we'll get? Lx square comma Lg, Ly square comma Lg, Lz square comma Lg. Now we have to this third operation, this third term is 0, because Lg square and Lg is equal to Lg square Lg minus Lz square. So in both of the cases we are getting Lgq minus Lgq, that will be 0. So the third term is 0. Now what about the first and second term? First term we will see Lx square and Lg. Lx square and Lg will be given when the commutator is opened up. It will give Lx square Lg minus Lg Lx square. Okay, so when we do some elementary mathematics, we can find out minus IH bar Lx Ly plus Ly Lx. This is the expression for first term. Okay, third term is 0. First term gives rise IH bar Lx Ly plus Ly Lx. What about the second term? Ly square Lg commutator. The second term Ly square Lg commutator is Ly square Lg minus Lg Ly square. When we expand this commutator, we will find IH cross Ly Lx plus Lx Ly. Now the second term and first term are opposite of each other, means this is a positive quantity, this is a first term is negative quantity and the second term is a positive quantity. The magnitude is same, so first term and second term cancels out each other. The third term is 0. So what is the final result? The final result is 0, means the commutator relations of L square and Lg is equal to 0. The second term, first term and second term are exact opposite of each other, that will cancel out. The third term is 0. So therefore the commutator relation of L square and Lg, that is equal to 0. So what can I say? I can say that L square, that is square of angular momentum, and Lg, that is component of angular momentum and along g direction, are commutes with each other. The operator for square of angular momentum and operator for angular momentum along z direction commute with each other, means we can find out their values simultaneously. Okay, so further it can be proved that L square commutes with Lg, we verified. Similarly we can verify that L square don't commute with Ly, L square don't commute with Lx, L square only commute with Lg. Okay, because we are getting a value 0. Okay, now Lx, Ly and Lg don't commute among themselves. We have seen this one. Lx, Ly and Lg don't commute among themselves. We have verified this one previously. Similarly, we have also seen that L square commutes with the Hamiltonian operator. The spherical harmonics are eigenfunctions for the Hamiltonian operator as well as the square of angular momentum. Similarly, I can also say that Lg, that is angular momentum along z direction, is also in commuting relation with the total energy operator or Hamiltonian operator, but the Lx and Ly will not be commuting in nature. Okay, so with this I'll stop here. Next session we will discuss some of the spherical harmonic functions and spatial quantization. Thank you.